Alright, now we're ready to start to add some annotation. So I'm going to go to the Annotate, and we're going to use the checklist that we have here that we talked about. First of all, let's check to see are we meeting our code compliance. So you would want to go look up the dwelling codes information I gave you. Living space needs to be a minimum of 120 square feet. Bedrooms are certain size, are considered other living spaces, and you can look it up and see what sizes those are. That's part of the challenge, is you want to look those up and make sure you're meeting code requirements. Once you have verified that, you can either write in what the minimum requirement is, and then you can write in the actual that you met and then check it off. Or you can just write in what the minimum requirement is as per the handout I gave you, and then check these off to make sure that you verified that all of your spaces meet code requirements. And then you go to your first floor plan and annotation. This is worth 15 points. So let's start with all walls are dimensioned, all exterior openings are dimensioned, and then all rooms have been labeled. We already tagged our doors and windows, so let's just do those three right now, okay? So I'm going to minimize this, and first things first, let's label our rooms. So I'm going to go to Architecture, Room Labels, and pop a room label in each space that has been defined by walls, even the little tiny linen closet, even your stairwell, okay? Once you do that, you can go to each room and you can identify what it is. I'm going to call this bedroom 1 because it's the larger bedroom. This is going to be called bedroom 2. Alright, so once you have your rooms labeled, you see I've used the same nomenclature for all of the same common rooms. If you have a situation where you've got a room label running into a tag, just move it a little bit. Make sure that you're able to see the actual room label and the tag. You can also move the tag if you need to. The tag can be shifted and the room label can be shifted. Pay attention to those things. Don't ignore them. Those help your drawing readability. All right, so rooms have been labeled, so you'd be able to go back to here and go check, okay? Now I want to go and dimension all my partitions, doors and windows, and exterior walls. So we're going to go to Annotate. I want an aligned dimension. I'm going to start with this back wall, making sure you go to the outside face of stud. Let's click on the centers of all of the windows and the walls that intersect the exterior walls. So let's not skip that one. And then go to the exterior stud. And I'm going to place those, about that far away from the building. It should equal about a ½ inch distance when we see it on paper. Now some of these dimensions are what I call messy, and I don't like them. And I want you to fix them as well. There's no reason for us to have 3/8 of an inch and 5/8 of an inch for dimensions. So I want to take this window and I want to adjust it so that it's at maybe 4 feet 4 inches. Then I want to take you see that corrected this one too. Great. Okay, and then I want to check this window here and maybe make that 4 feet. Beautiful. So that's a much better string of dimensions. Okay. Now the next string of dimensions that goes on that would be your overall dimensions, going from here to here. And you'll see that the extension line for the overall dimensions will kind of lock themselves the correct distance away from the first extension lines. So you're going to repeat that process all the way around the floor plan. Alright, so I've got all of my doors and windows and exterior walls and any interior walls that intersect my exterior walls dimensioned. The other thing you need to look at, though, is are there any walls on the inside that we weren't able to get to through the outside dimensions? So we're going to fix that. Like this one right here, how do you locate that wall and how do you locate this one? So I'm going to add 2 new dimensions, both of them going from the exterior face of stud to the center of this wall and the center of that wall. And that's going to take care of get some extra dimensions in there. Let me undo that, because one of the things that happens with the floor is it thinks you want to dimension each plank on the floor, and that is not what we want to do. So notice what I'm doing over here is I'm picking way off the floor so it doesn't interfere. Alright, so this dimension I don't like, and I don't like this one, so I want to select that wall and fix this one first. I'm going to set that to a 7'2" dimension, and then I want to select this wall and set that to 1'4". Now I do want to check to see, is the distance between these two walls going to be 3 feet? And it looks like it's going to be more than 3 feet, a little bit more than 3 feet, so we're all set. So then you see that none of my dimensions have funky fractions. They're all nice, clean, whole inches all the way around. And I did that by just wiggling the windows and doors, by clicking on them and fixing the dimensions, typing in a dimension and making those corrections. If you happened to have skipped a wall as you go around, or a window or something like that, you can do something what's called edit witness lines. So if I choose the edit witness line, and then I say I want to pick something else to dimension like this, I wouldn't really do this. But let's say I wanted to add that. You see that it adds that witness line. Now if you hit escape, then it goes right back to the way it was before. But if you click off to the side, then it will accept those new witness lines. The other thing that might happen is when you click on these dimensions, the dimension is actually tagging the wrong part. Just like any other dimension, the temporary dimensions, when you click on that little circle here, it just will toggle through all the possible ways that you can dimension to that wall. Okay, so that should cover what you need to do for the second requirement, which is all exterior openings are dimensioned, and the first requirement, all walls are dimensioned. Now we do need to add the general notes so have been provided to locate the interior doors, and we need to make sure a cutting plane line is there, which it automatically is, and we do need to provide framing information for ceiling framing above. So let's add that information, and then I think you get a sense of what you need to do for the rest of these. So let's add our general note. So I can create text anywhere I want. And we can even do this in the title block in the sheet instead, but I'm going to put it right here, and I want to add right down here, text height should be not 1/4 inch but 3/32, and it is going to say general note. One, because there might be more than one. All interior doors shall be located 6 inches from hinged side, 6 inches from adjacent wall on, oh, I messed that up, didn't I? Let's get in closer to it. Whoops. Alright, all you have to do is hit modify and be able to select it and take it. So I want to move those items located, there we go, from adjacent wall on hinge side, and we might need to extend that. Alright, so on hinge side, all interior doors shall be located 6 inches from adjacent wall on hinge side. Perfect. Think of any other types of notes that you think you'd like to add here. Notes pertaining to finishes, or insulation, code compliance. Like we can have a discussion about what are the kind of notes that we might want to handle here. Now let's add the notes for the framing. So for the framing, I'm going to do a similar tag. I want to put on the inside here a note about framing for the ceiling. So I'm just going to write in 2x6 ceiling joists at 16 inches on center. And you're going to look this up and make sure if that's true. Will that span that distance? With 1/2 inch GWB. Alright, so that information can be added right to your plans. Whoops, I'm going to make sure we're not selecting the, want to select the, Alright, sometimes this can be problematic, so let me show you something we can do with this floor. You can highlight the floor, we can override the graphics in the view by element, and I'm on to surface patterns. I'm going to turn off the visible surface patterns, and that makes it so the floor doesn't get in our way. So there's our ceiling joist. Now if this is typical, if this is true for all of the rooms, we can leave that alone with our ceiling joists. I do want you to verify though, can your ceiling joist span, you see I have a 16-foot span to this wall, can your ceiling joist span that distance and be 2x6s? And that's what I'd like you to look up and find out that information. Maybe that those have to be bigger. So let's see our checklist. So now we have our framing information, we have our cutting plane line with the sheet number, we have our general notes added, we have all our doors and windows have been tagged, and so on. So if we include all that information and we take a look at our sheet, basically our first sheet is complete and we've met the requirements of the final project for that view. That should make sense to you. Alright, so in the next video, watch me set up the types of annotation you would put in the section.